If you're using OpenClaw and only know one or two commands, you're honestly missing most of the power of the system. In this video, I'm going to show you 10 OpenClaw commands that instantly push your head about 95% of the beginners. I'll run every command live in the terminal so you can see exactly what happens and what kind of output you should expect. And if you're new here, welcome to AI Who Knows, the channel where we explore AI tools, AI agents, and developer workflows so you can understand AI without being intimidated by it. Alright, let's start with the commands every OpenClaw user should know first. The very first command is OpenClaw onboard. Let me run it. You can see that this launches the onboarding process. This is basically the command that initializes your OpenClaw environment. It sets up the configuration, connects to the gateway, and prepares the system so OpenClaw can actually run. The whole configuration process is exactly the same when you downloaded your OpenClaw for the first time. Most beginners skip this command and try to reinstall OpenClaw from the beginning, which often leads to errors and wastes a lot of time. If you encounter some problem, you don't know what happened and want to reconfigure everything, this is always the first command you should run. The next one is OpenClaw configure. Let's run that. Now you can see that the configuration interface appearing. This command allows you to change system settings after installation. For example, you can modify things like environment configuration, model settings, gateways, and other configurations related to the system behavior. So think of this command as a control panel for OpenClaw in the terminal. If you only want to change one configuration out of whole configuration list, like only the model, you may want to use this command. This is how this command differs from OpenClaw onboard, with which you will need to go through the whole configuration list. Once OpenClaw is set up, the next thing you will want to do is actually interact with the system. There are two main ways to do that. First, OpenClaw dashboard. Let's run that. You can see that this launches the OpenClaw dashboard interface. This usually opens a web interface where you can manage agents, see activities, and interact with the system visually. For many users, the dashboard is the main way they interact with OpenClaw, especially if they prefer graphical interfaces instead of the terminal. But if you're a developer or you prefer working directly in the terminal, there's another option, OpenClaw TUI. Let's run that. Now you can see the terminal user interface. This gives you a text-based interface to interact with OpenClaw directly inside the terminal. This is actually very popular among developers because it's fast, lightweight, and you don't need to switch to the browser. If you prefer to code in terminal and you are more used to using tools like Claude Code, this may be the command you must run each time. Now let's talk about managing the OpenClaw gateway service. Those commands become important when the system isn't behaving the way you expect. The first command is OpenClaw gateway status. Let me run it. This command checks whether the OpenClaw gateway service is currently running. You can see that system reporting the status here. Whenever something stops working, this is usually the first command you should run to confirm that service is active. Sometimes the gateway needs to be restarted, for example, after changing configuration like the model, or if something crashes. The command is OpenClaw gateway restart. Let's run it. You can see that a gateway restarting, this is one of the most common troubleshooting commands because restarting the service often resolves temporary issues. And one note here, every time you will change the configurations with OpenClaw command, please do remember to run this command so that OpenClaw will make them to take effect. The next command is OpenClaw update status. Let's check it. This command checks whether your OpenClaw installation is up to date. You can see the current version and whether updates are available. Keeping OpenClaw updated is important because new versions often include security patches and performance improvements. Here you can see that OpenClaw 3.13 is there. I can update to the newest version by running this command, OpenClaw update. Finally, let's look at the commands used for monitoring and debugging the system. These are extremely useful when something isn't working correctly. First, OpenClaw health. Let's run it. This command performs a health check on the system. It verifies that the key components are functioning correctly and that the environment is properly configured, like the list of agents, heartbeats, interval, session store, and cron job status. If something is broken, this command usually gives you a quick overview of the problem. The next one is OpenClaw logs follow. Let me run that. Now you can see the log streaming in real time. This is extremely useful because you can monitor what OpenClaw is doing internally. Developers use this command constantly when debugging problems, because logs often reveal exactly what is happening behind the scenes. If ever you find some errors you don't understand, copy-paste it into your OpenClaw assistant to let it fix for you. Finally, we have a more advanced command, OpenClaw Security Audit Deep. Let's run it. This performs a deep security audit of your OpenClaw environment. It checks for things like configuration problems, security vulnerabilities, potential risks. This command is especially useful if you're running OpenClaw in a production environment. So those are the top 10 OpenClaw commands that every single user should know. If you understand those commands, you can set up OpenClaw, interact with the systems, manage services, debug problems, and keep your environment secure. That already puts you ahead of most beginners using the tool. If you find this useful, subscribe to the channel AI Who Knows. On this channel, we explore AI tools, automation systems, and developer workflows so you can understand AI without being intimidated by it. See you next time. Bye.